I've talked about a lot of popular movies on this channel, but today I want to talk about a movie that most people will have never seen. But I really think you should, and here's why. The movie I'm going to be talking about today is called Phantom of the Open, and it's about a man named Maurice Flitcroft on a journey to completing his spontaneous goal of completing the British Open Golf Championship late in life, and then getting one of the worst scores in history. Did I mention this is based off of a true story? Mark Rylance shines as Maurice Flitcroft in this film. His performance is just amazingly textured. What he does really great in this movie is playing a What he does really well in this movie is play a mild-mannered man with a lot of nuance. For instance, there are moments where we see him put on a big smile, but it really hurts because we know it's a facade in the story. Only a really good performance could communicate that kind of emotion on a surface level. We also kind of see his mild-manneredness and his meekness through his ambition and what he kind of wants to do. We can tell that he really wants something, but he's been beaten down in his life to try to get there. I know this sounds like movie critic-y and like I'm analyzing this on a deep level, but it's really not when you watch it. This kind of complex emotion sits on the surface in Mark Rylance's performance in a way that's really amazing. It feels very upfront as a viewer, even though it's communicated subtly. The rest of the cast is also great, even though there aren't a lot of huge stars appearing. Sally Hawkins is great as Maurice Flitcroft's wife Jean, and Rhys Ifans also shines in his glorified cameo of the British Open's leader. One of the things that really jumped out to me about this movie is the comedy is just stellar. This isn't a movie like Deadpool where it's throwing out 100 jokes a minute, but even though its jokes per minute are lower, I can say that every time a joke hit, it really hit very well, whether it was charming or actually laugh out loud funny. I can confidently say that this is one of the funniest movies that I've seen in theaters in years. It's a smart comedy that doesn't really rely on just dumb humor to get you to laugh. I'm not trying to knock dumb joke comedies, but I really appreciate when a smart comedy comes along and knocks it out of the park like this. Did I just say knock it out of the park? So, as I said, it's funny, but it also has really good emotional depth throughout. There are moments in this film that are really emotionally touching, and I'm someone who's personally pretty hard to crack in that way throughout a film. In Mark Rylance's performance, but also the way he communicates with the people around him, and kind of how everybody goes on this kind of wholesome, even though it's kind of failing, journey together. We really follow Maurice's journey both through the ups and the downs. There are definitely moments where you feel bad for Maurice on his journey, but when something good happens, you really feel that with him and you're rooting for him. This movie's just really solid overall. I do think it could have been like 5 minutes shorter probably. There isn't a ton of fluff in it, that's why I only said 5 minutes, but there are definitely some scenes that could have been done slightly more economically. I will say that towards the last 30 minutes of the film, there were a bunch of times where I was like, okay, there's a good time to end it. There's a good time to end it. But I can confidently say that every time it extended past where I really thought it should come to a close, it was better that way. So I don't really mind it. I just think that a few scenes could have been done a little more economically. There were almost always a good reason to justify the film's 1 hour and 46-minute runtime, which is fairly long for a comedy, but overall it works really well. The other thing that doesn't quite work for me is I think that at times the scenes feel a tad unstructured. They felt like they could have been a little more direct and a little more streamlined, but again, these are just minor gripes. I actually wrote this review like 6 months ago because me and my mom were going out for a night and we saw that, we didn't want to see Top Gun again because it had been there for a while, so we wanted to see something new, and we saw Phantom of the Open and we were just like, let's give it a try. And it was probably top 3 movies I've seen this year behind Top Gun and Avatar 2. It was really amazing. We just saw this movie on a whim and I'm really glad I did, and now that I'm back recording videos, I wanted to tell you about this little gem that you should definitely give a watch to. I'm gonna give this movie an 8.5. I really, really enjoyed it. It's not in theaters anymore, but at the time of recording, it's on Amazon Prime, so you can definitely watch it there. Let me know if there's any movies you'd like to see me review, and until then, I'll see you later. Bye.